What's up? Welcome in on this Tuesday, April 14th. I said April 14th. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. It is the 14th, the day before an important day, usually for a lot of people. Most importantly, the NBA playoffs have started. Kind of. As Con Knipple has just tied the game 41-41 from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Heat and Hornets have started the invitational Vegas map to get to the Pistons and or Celtics and then receive the ass whooping you so deserve. I know a lot of people are very interested in seeing if we could get a Hornets Pistons matchup in the first round because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of love lost between those two. We have got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We just finished a historical Masters. We've got coaches in baseball and hockey going on the injured list. Baseball just done lost its damn mind last night. Arrests, trades, NFL must be draft season. What in the hell is going on, my brother? Because I've got a story for you about this past weekend.
All right. So I want to start. I want to clean up a few things. One thing that I heard today, and one thing that one of our listeners commented about. So I'm going to start with the thing I heard today. I heard there was a debate today about Rory McIlroy having an unfair advantage, being able to practice at Augusta.
Jesus.
I think that's a load of crap. Okay, let's just put it this way: he won. It's not an advantage. He won. He's already won, and that's part of it. He gets to go there and he gets to play. And you know what? If he got to play there for 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, I'm sure I've heard of other golfers being able to go. I'm sure if other golfers wanted to go, they could probably go. He's just decided to take those 2 weeks off and practice. I hate to use him as an example, but I'll use him as an example. Phil Mickelson used to do the same thing. So that was, I just needed to get that off my chest because I thought that was kind of a load of crap. Another thing, and this was one of our listeners wrote when we talked last week about the suspensions, and I said in baseball, I didn't think that the players should get suspended. And the comment was something to the fact that, well, I would have gotten into a fight, every month. And I'm like, no. That's not the point that I was making. The point is it's not equitable what they were doing, having a player and a pitcher the same amount of time because they're missing different amount of games. My point was they don't need to suspend them. But if you're going to be some sort of person that's going to continually, every month, as he said, get into a fight, then you deserve a suspension. So I just, would like to clean things up around here. I just want to clean up those two things before we get started.
Little house cleaning, nothing wrong with that. And I know which comment you're talking about there, and that was the point that we kind of wrote back to him. And again, feel free to comment along on the program if you're watching along. Sign up for our newsletter, MikeAranaShow.com/links. You can follow us on all social channels except for Snapchat because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks at Mike Arana Show. And, it was kind of funny because yesterday I posted a thought that I had last Thursday about how I'm really genuinely not very excited about any of the first round potential matchups. And we know most of them in the NBA. We're going to get more into those tomorrow night. But, and somebody's like, well, if you're not excited about Nuggets and Wolves, then you're not an NBA fan. Okay, let's hit pause there. First of all, you're not going to not call me, or you're not going to call me a non-NBA fan. That's never going to fly over here because I watch more basketball than is probably humanly healthy. Second of all, why does that series not excite me? I have no idea which Timberwolves team is going to show up. Now, every great fight needs a trilogy, Mac. We know this. And this would be the trilogy for them in the postseason. That being said, however, Denver has beat the living hell out of Minnesota multiple times this year. They never have an answer for Nikola Jokic. And I don't believe that the Timberwolves are good enough to all of a sudden flip some switch that they haven't been able to find all year. Durant and LeBron, that doesn't do anything for me. There's not any first-round matchups that really get me excited here.
Yeah, Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 were really good. Once we get to Rocky 3 and 4, we started having a little bit of an issue. And it's kind of the same thing. You're 100% correct. I mean, we don't know this. This is a series that could be done in a few games, or it could go the distance. We just don't know what Minnesota team's going to be there. But 100% correct. You know, and I know we're going to talk more about our picks tomorrow, but you put a little nugget in there in my head last week about Denver, and it's been knocking around all week, and I know where you're going with that. And so we'll save that conversation for tomorrow. But I mean, listen, I mean, if you're an NBA fan and you're watching this game, I mean, it's a good game. I'm all in on Charlotte, though. I told you, I said that they were going to win a couple of series. I would consider this, if they can get through these couple, one of the series. So I'm excited about this.
Problem developing for the Hornets. Not that this is abnormal for them, but something that I could see being an issue here in the second half. Ball and Bridges have 30 of Charlotte's 52 points so far, and they're getting a little lackadaisical on the defensive end of the floor here. The energy in the Spectrum Center is ridiculous tonight, which is something to be expected, and I would expect at the Mortgage Matchup Center, I think that's what they're calling the building downtown here now, for the second game tonight, Suns and Blazers. That should be another interesting one as well. Then tomorrow night, obviously, you've got an elimination game between Steph Curry and Kawhi Leonard. That's going to bring eyeballs to the table. And then you've got this Orlando situation tomorrow night as they play Philadelphia. I mean, you want to talk about two teams that don't know which way is up or down. But this Orlando thing's starting to get some steam. And we mentioned a few weeks back, you know, all the hype surrounding the Magic and going into the preseason. And you remember I was like, I don't get it. I don't see this at all. Jamal Mosley is going to get fired. I will tell you that right now. It's just a matter of if it's after tomorrow night's game or if it's, well, in the NBA playoffs, if it's a month from now after the first round or if it's after tomorrow night's game. Jamal Mosley is not lasting another year.
Good thing he's not an NHL coach, because he would have got fired after that debacle on Sunday in Boston. I mean, I watched that game in a game that they didn't really need to win it. It wasn't like it was a must win in the playoffs or out of the playoffs kind of a thing. But it was kind of to play a home game is what it was for. And to get, listen, they got shellacked by the Celtics. Yeah, I know it was a close game, but none of the top 8 or 9 Celtics even touched the floor, and you got shellacked. Let's just be honest. Let's just call it what it was. But listen, I had another. It was the third thing I was going to clean up, and I wanted to talk about it because it's about your Warriors, and this goes back to our conversation again about the NBA versus the NHL. And I saw this morning. There is a minutes restriction on 3 players. It's the playoffs.
It's a 40-minute restriction. I don't know why everybody's making a big deal out of this.
But I didn't. Okay, so truth be told, I didn't read it. I saw the headline and just went off. But I'm like, why even put that out? Why would you have a restriction? I mean, here's the deal, and we all know this. If you don't play well, you're not playing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. So what's the restriction?
Yeah, and I'm staring right at the headline right now, and this is unfortunately where we're at in sports media now, is everybody's just trying to angle into the front row of the mosh pit to get the clicks and get the fake bullshit that they want. The headline literally reads, Curry on minutes restriction in must-win play-in. Well, if you actually read into it and you listen to the comments from Steve Kerr, they've got Porzingis, Horford, and Curry on a 40-minute restriction. 40 minutes. We're talking about 40 minutes of a 48-minute game. And if you're the Warriors, with what's been going on with Steph Curry and his situation, and knowing that we've got, let's call it 2 more years of full go with Steph Curry, I don't have a problem with them going, hey, we know it's a must win. We've obviously won games without you on the floor. Not saying that they can beat the Clippers without Steph Curry, because they have a hard enough time beating the Clippers with Steph Curry. It's just one of those teams the Warriors can never play. But I don't have a problem with a 40-minute restriction on your aging cornerstone of your franchise that you're trying to go into an offseason and reload for next year. Let's call a spade here with the Warriors situation. There's a lot of uncertainty. Steve Kerr does not have a contract after the Warriors are done. Who knows if that's going to happen? Allegedly, the Warriors are in on Giannis. They're in on LeBron. They're going to be in on Kawhi when that contract gets voided. Right. you can see the urgency from the Warriors to surround Steph Curry with more pieces that can help him hopefully get another championship. Whether that means you have to ship out Draymond Green, I don't know. Like, I was talking to my dad about this the other day, and this would be an interesting one to get your feedback on, because I know you saw him win a title with your team. If I'm the Warriors, I bring back Kristaps Porzingis, because Macklin Celebrini's dad might be the most important figure in sports in the Bay Area, because he's been able to keep Porzingis on the floor. Rick Celebrini, who's in charge of the Warriors sports medicine department, is Macklin Celebrini's father. I would like to see them run it back with a healthy Jimmy Butler and a guy in Celebrini who can keep Porzingis on the floor and Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Is that enough to get it done? You're taking a lot of risks there with a lot of guys with injury histories, a lot of guys that are up there in age. They're definitely going to need more players, but I don't know if running out for Kawhi, LeBron, or Giannis and resetting everything around that is going to be their best move. If you're a Warriors fan, I think the biggest piece of news that should excite you right now is that Mike Dunleavy Jr. is being strongly considered to take over the Bulls front office, because I don't think there's a whole lot of Warriors fans, Mac, that have faith in Mike Dunleavy Jr. to make the moves that a Bob Myers would make, and that's starting to create some friction there. You know Porzingis well. You saw him help your team win a title. What do you think of my plan for Warriors version? I think this would be like version 7.0. I don't know. You got to ask Joe Lake of what number we're on.
I mean, it does seem like they've kind of gone the Band-Aid route, where they're just kind of putting Band-Aids on it and hoping that it fixes itself over the last couple of years, instead of, it's kind of like the whole thing with Giannis. Like, the truth be told, he probably should have been traded 2 years ago. And so I think Milwaukee's kind of backed themselves. It's kind of like the Warriors. I think the Warriors probably 2 years ago, if they were really going to make a big move, they probably should have made it 2 years ago. I just kind of think that's where they're at. It just to me feels like they're putting Band-Aids on Band-Aids on Band-Aids and trying to find a way. But, again, you know this as well as anybody. I mean, the last, 2 or 3 years, the Warriors really haven't been a target of a team that's going to win a championship, and they're in that same situation this year. They're just not at that level right now.
Yeah, those of you interested in live betting here, this is an important piece of news to pass along as far as what's going on in Charlotte right now. They've reached the half, and it's been a really, really fun game to watch so far. Obviously, kind of half watching it now because we're doing a damn show. 54-52, Miami leads at halftime. Bam Adebayo left the game late in the first half there with a lower back injury. He is questionable to return, kind of landed on his back hip area, which after moving studios this weekend, I can totally sympathize with, because I took a doorknob to the back hip area because my dumbass decided to stand on a stool that was not meant for standing on. As well as ripping off half of my toenail. So if you're moving 25 feet in your house to change rooms for whatever reason, maybe it's a home office, art studio, something like that, just beware that it is a contact sport. And my body, man, 44, you don't recover as quickly as you did at 34. You hear it all the time. Oh, just wait till you get old. It gets fun. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. We all think we're invincible. No, it's a God-honest truth, man. It is the God-honest truth right there. Let's get into some headlines here. And in the only way possible that this guy could do something like this, I give you Doc Rivers, who is now, as you've heard, officially out as the Bucks coach after 3 seasons. The Bucks will pay Rivers his 8-figure salary for the 26-27 season to sit on his couch, and the franchise and Rivers are discussing whether he will move on to an advisory role with the organization. That's my first problem with the story. The second follow-up to the story, though, Mac, is in the most Doc Rivers way of doing Doc Rivers things, the dude gets canned the year he's going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Does that not sum up Doc Rivers better than anything?
Yeah, I feel bad. I love Doc Rivers when he was coaching the Celtics. I mean, he really is a good coach. I mean, he's got that little bit of a moniker that, he's great in the regular season, not so great in the postseason. That's kind of where we're going there. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. It really. I mean, I just don't know what to say. I don't think it's all part of. I don't think it's all his fault in Milwaukee. I mean, that was kind of a stacked deck when he took that job, and he didn't do a real good job, or he didn't really have a chance to reshuffle that deck very good when he was in Milwaukee. So, hey, there you go. You got a Hall of Fame coach available for your team next year.
I'm going to be nice. He's going in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to be mean to Doc. I'm not going to be a realist with Doc Rivers today. I do question of a guy who went 97 and 103 in his tenure as the head coach of the Bucks after replacing Adrian Griffin, who was off to a really good start, but for some reason we needed to make a change. And now the Bucks, this just sums up how much the Bucks have no idea what the hell they're doing. Why would you want Doc Rivers in an advisory role? What has he done for you that would go, you know what? This guy's opinion really matters to us.
I don't understand that advisory role thing anyway. I mean, I know what it is. It's just a fancy way of saying you want that said athlete to continue to be on your payroll and kind of make you look good, But I don't know how much they actually do, especially in the professional thing. I know like Ortiz has that role for the Red Sox and stuff. I guess he's helped talk to some free agents and stuff like that. But I mean, he could probably do that on his own dime.
Yeah, Big Papi would. Yeah, that's for damn sure. More on the NBA a little bit later. And again, tomorrow we'll get into the first round matchups and what we think of the overall playoff picture because let's be honest, I know we can get crazy with our picks sometimes. There ain't a single one of us on tomorrow night's show that's picking any one of these teams in the play-in tournament to get past the first round, with the exception of maybe the Hornets by one guy, and I don't even think he's going to go there. Let's move over to the NHL side of things, where now we know the totality of the playoff picture. We don't know exactly where everybody's going to end up, but we've got a pretty good idea right now. What we do know, though, is Avalanche coach Jared Bednar is going to be out for Colorado until the playoffs start after he took a puck to the face on the bench during Saturday night's game. He had facial fractures and a corneal abrasion, expected to make a full recovery without surgery. Assistants Nolan Pratt and Dave Haxtell are expected to coach the team in the final two games of the regular season, which is at Edmonton and Calgary, in two games that really mean absolutely jack shit for the Colorado Avalanche because they've been the Colorado Avalanche all year. But kind of a scary moment. Surprised it actually doesn't happen more on the bench than it does, but expected to make a full recovery, expected to be back from the playoffs. Kind of a wild time in the NHL right now, man.
I think you're 100% right. I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more often, but I think wouldn't it be just, can you imagine? Here we go. Let's play this. Imagine if that happened in the playoffs. He got hit in the playoffs, and he goes out and then comes back like the players do. Ice pack on, eye busted up, all cut up, stitched up, and he'd have been out there. You're next. You're on the line. That place would have been absolutely crazy if he would have come back and actually coached with all that going on. That would have been that. I would have liked to see that. That would have been a moment.
Mac calling for Jared Bednar to do his best Willis Reed impression. But that would be total hockey coach, though, if you think about it. I mean, it would fit the bill. Games of note tonight. Anaheim, Minnesota, they're 1-1 at the end of the first. Philadelphia up 3-2 over Montreal. Carolina and the Islanders tied at 1. Boston's up 4-0 on New Jersey. The game of most note tonight, because as you saw on our social channels a little bit earlier today at Mike Arana Show, everywhere but Snapchat, because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks, is tonight the night that we see the end of Alexander Ovechkin's career. I really hope to hell, Mac, it is not. I'm hoping, as I mentioned in our short video on our channel today, that because he's waiting till the summer, that might make me believe that he's coming back. I'm not a big retirement tour guy, but I would have loved to have known the last time the Capitals were in Anaheim that was going to be my best chance to see Ovi play one more time in my life. Very fortunate that I've gotten to see him play twice. One of the most incredible goals I've ever seen in my freaking life against the Coyotes way back in the early stages of his career. But tonight against the Blue Jackets, they've just started the third period, so we could be 20 minutes away from the end of one of the all-time great careers in the NHL.
I'll tell you, if it's any indication of what we've seen over the weekend, or over the last couple of games, I should say, when he played against Pittsburgh and what they did at center ice, with him and Crosby being able to take the face off, and you heard a lot about him being invited over to a couple of their houses and a lot of like gift exchanges and stuff. It really does seem like, and then he doesn't seem like the type of person that would want, the victory lap, if you will. I think this will probably be it for him.
Yeah, and again, I hope it's not, but it would suck. I mean, the one thing that and again, the flip side of this, and I said this last week when I brought it up. The flip side to it is you could go, hey, dumbass, you should have known he could have retired after this year and made it a point to see him. You're entirely right. And I do, like, I don't think he doesn't strike me as a guy that wants a big hullabaloo. There's a word I haven't used on the show, I don't think ever. And a big mess about retirement tours like we've seen some guys do. So hopefully, it sounds like he's going to take some time, and obviously, why wouldn't he? Let your body recover, especially if you're making a decision to go through one more grueling hockey season. You got to know that your body's up for it. So hopefully we're not 19 minutes away from the end of his career.
And I hope I hope it's not one of those things where he just decides to play, an abbreviated schedule next year either. Like I said, I don't think he's that type of player that he would do that. I think he's either 82 in or not. But like I said, I think it's probably a not.
Yeah, which, I mean, it sucks, man. But hey,
it does.
We will say this, and obviously we'll get more into it tomorrow and more into it on Thursday's Lunchtime Live. The future of the sport of hockey is in very, very capable hands and in very, very capable skates right now. So a lot to be excited about, even if he is to go. Not a whole lot going on in the NFL as we approach the draft, which is going to be a scene of all scenes, I'm sure, in Pittsburgh. But we seemingly get a lot of arrests at this time of year. That hasn't changed anything. So you got to pilfer your way through the news, if you will, to find actual stories. Like the Philadelphia Eagles, who acquired Dontavian Wicks in a trade with the Packers for a 5th-round pick in this year's draft and a sixth-rounder next year. The Eagles are signing Wicks to a 1-year, $12.5 million extension based on that trade. So another target for the Eagles, maybe some pre-preparations to a draft day trade of A.J. Brown. Jordan Schultz had a report last week, Mac, and I think this adds another interesting layer to the draft. And with this trade here, we're not talking about, first team all NFL receiver in Dontavian Wicks, but a guy who can be highly effective and maybe a little bit of a precursor to the A.J. Brown saga possibly coming to an end with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, we know there's something going on with the Eagles. We said it all through the year that offense wasn't what we thought it was supposed to be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if it's it's got to be one of the it's either going to be Brown, it's either going to be their quarterback, or it's going to be their coach or their offensive coordinator. Something's going to have to give in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are. They're an interesting team for me, at least as they sit right now going into next year. And with Nick Sirianni there and Jalen Hurts there and Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia fans, they're always going to be a talking point. They're always going to be an interesting team. I'm very interested to see how their season unfolds this year, because I think one of two things happens. They get themselves right back to the top, right back in the mix, or they've lost a lot of significant players already, and this team goes into kind of a 2-year tailspin, kind of nosedive situation like what the hell happened to the Eagles. I think a lot can change in the next 10 days.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, we have to remember, that the Giants got a new regime. The Giants are going to be, literally, they're going to be one of the top teams everyone's going to talk about here in the next couple of weeks. You're going to start to hear a lot about the Giants and be interested in what they do in the draft. That winning that division is not going to be a cakewalk like it has been probably the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope for the Colorado Rockies, Mac. Yeah, I said the Colorado Rockies, as the Broncos owners have bought a 40% stake in the Rockies, providing a financial boost to an MLB team that claims that they don't make any money. Greg Penner and Kerry Walton Penner, who lead the Broncos ownership group, have signed on as minority owners, roughly 40% of the team, Dick Monfort said in a statement. You know, the Rockies are 6-10. They're not in last place, and thanks to the Giants, who are losing right now in Cincinnati in a low-scoring game at Great American Ballpark. Robbie Ray and Brady Singer were your starting pitchers there. They're down 2-1, top of the ninth here. But right now they're bringing up the anchor leg, the Giants are, of the division, and the Rockies got off to a pretty good start here. The Rockies have some good, young, interesting players on their roster. We know development has always been an issue for the Rockies, and convincing pitchers to come to Colorado has always been an interesting and difficult challenge for the Rockies here. But I think if you're a Rockies fan, this gives you some semblance of hope for a franchise that has really lacked hope for the better part of a decade.
Absolutely amazing stadium. Let's just go there. It's a great stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before. I think the Colorado Rockies need to embrace what they have. They have a great offensive type ballpark. And if you go back and look at the history of the Rockies, remember the Rockies were in the World Series. The Rockies were a playoff team year after year after year. And how did they do it? Well, what's the name on the street? Blake Street. Who were they? The Blake Street Bombers. That's how they won games with Helton and Castillo. Listen, that's what I've always said this. I think if you're the Rockies, you've got to go. I'll be honest with you, kind of sort of like the way the Athletics are doing this. Go after young offensive talent and say, listen, you get to play here 82 games. Why would you not want to bring your talents to our ballpark from an offensive standpoint and be able to hit in this ballpark? I mean, this is you're gonna get an extra 2 or 3 singles, two or 3 doubles, an extra home run or two every single year because of your playing here, and then go after just slightly above average pitchers. Go after veterans that like a Giolito, somebody who has to prove himself. And if you can prove yourself in Colorado, remember, I think a lot is made of that too. Remember, they play half their games away from Colorado as well. So let's get that straight as well. And we know that. And so, but I love that place. It's in my top 10 stadiums to go to. It's a great stadium. The people there love it. I just don't think that they've tried to build that team the right way.
Yeah, and that's always everybody's argument. It's like, what good pitcher are you going to convince to come to Colorado? You don't necessarily need to try and convince a Garrett Cole to come to Colorado. And some people are going to hear this and go, well, they got swept in that World Series, so how good were they? Listen, the pitching staff on that last Rockies World Series team, Jeff Francis started game 1, Ubaldo Jimenez in game 2, Josh Fogg in game 3, Aaron Cook in game 4. What really made that Rockies team really tough to beat through the duration of that year was their bullpen. Corpus was their closer, Brian Fuentes, LaTroy Hawkins, Jeremy Affeldt, Matt Hergis, Franklin Morales. Those guys you couldn't get a hit off of. So while you don't need the Garrett Coles and Garrett Crochets, I mean, Garrett Crochet looked like he pitched at Coors Field yesterday, but you don't need those kind of guys. It'd be great to get them, but let's be honest, you're going to have to overpay by 10, 20, 30 million dollars to get those guys, and that's not the way to do it. It's the bullpen, and this year for the Rockies, and you're going to go 6-10. That's not a good start. For the Rockies, that's actually way ahead of pace of anywhere that they were last year or over the last couple of years. It's their bullpen this year that, again, is pitching really well and keeping them in games.
I think that's the formula. Again, you got to look at it. You got to say, listen, we've got to be able to outscore people, and they've got to build that offense. I think they need to get some bombers in there. Is what I really think. For me, that's just the way that I would go about building that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Last night in baseball, man, and let me start with this. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on with the play-in tournament here, but let me ask you a simple question. As far as the play-in goes. Again, tomorrow night on the program, we're going to get way more into the first-round matchups and our thoughts on the overall NBA playoff picture. But Miami, Charlotte, Portland, Phoenix tonight, Orlando, Philly, Golden State, and the Clippers tomorrow. Do you give any one of those teams that I just mentioned, whoever wins or loses, if I said, let's say the Miami-Charlotte game hasn't started, is there one of those teams that you think could actually have a chance to win a first-round series? Or just prove my point that the play-in tournament is basically useless?
Yeah, I really don't think so. I really don't. I mean, as much as I'd like to tell you Charlotte, where they're going to end up going, I mean, they're going to get.
The only place they could go would be Detroit.
Yeah, I mean that's just a. I'm just looking at the rest of them. I would say if there's one team, kind of funny. If there's one team, I would say that could probably do it. It might be the Suns. That might be it, and then that's a stretch, and that's a maybe. In there, maybe but other than that, I mean, I think we said the other day. I think Portland and Charlotte are kind of on that same track. I think they're building kind of like San Antonio was building. That's the thing about San Antonio. We just don't know how they're going to react to the playoffs. Playoff basketball in the NBA is a little bit different. That's why I say you get the Suns in there. Maybe, but that would probably be the only one I could really see.
Yeah, I would agree with you because I think if you've got a healthy Devin Booker, you've got a healthy Jalen Green.
Yeah.
The way that the Suns have taken to Jordan Ott in his first year there.
Yeah.
I like the balance of that team. I think they're clearly the better team, but I'm
not putting big money
they would
on
be
it.
the only one I could make a case for, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, can they beat San Antonio? I don't know. We're talking about a San Antonio team here, and I know you're either on one side of the fence with San Antonio or the other one. I mean, that's basically where everybody's at. They haven't had, and to use one of your terms, they haven't had their, quote, step-up year yet, and this would be the year for this group to have that, okay, we got into the playoffs, we did pretty good with it, we got a little bit to clean up, a little bit to learn. And then the other side of it is we were 5 points away from this team having 8 guys averaging double figures. They can beat you in a number of different freaking ways. And that's kind of, where people are at with the Spurs. I don't know if the Suns, even on their best day, can beat the Spurs in a 7-game series. I think they could push the Spurs to maybe 6 if they played perfect basketball, but Charlotte's got too much to bite off against Detroit. Philly and Orlando, whoever gets to Boston, assuming if that's how it plays itself out. Right. Neither one, those two teams, Philly and Orlando, I could see both getting swept by the Celtics. Yeah, and probably pretty easily too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give Orlando maybe a little bit of a tug. I'd give them maybe a game, but Philly is just that those are not. I mean, here's the bottom line. I mean, if you look at all of those teams, you look at those 8 teams. There's really not a good team in there. I mean, there's really not. I mean,
there's not.
There's good young teams. I mean, we said Portland and Charlotte. We like what they're doing, but there's a reason you're in these play-in games. It's because you weren't good enough to get into the regular playoffs. We've talked about it. It's just garbage. I don't know how else to say it. It's just
No, you're right. I for some reason decided to humor myself mid-sentence out of you and pull up the box score from the Giants game tonight, and that's why I was laughing more than anything. They got 6 hits. They had plenty of runners on tonight against Brady Singer, and they mustered 1 run. Only gave up 3 hits, and Spencer Steer and Stal Stewart hit home runs, and that was all the Reds needed. So that's why I was laughing. Let's stay with baseball here. Help is near for the Yankees, and that's a good thing because they're getting kind of cranky in the Bronx already. The Yanks 9-7, still that 22-run differential. Struggled offensively a little bit. Pitching staff has been their strength. Well, help is near for the Yankees as it comes to that pitching staff, and 2 guys we talked about a lot in our baseball preview show, Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon are nearing rehab assignments. According to Aaron Boone on Monday, they could each begin a rehab assignment in the next week after each logged 3 innings in a live batting practice session the past 2 days. Cole threw 42 pitches on Sunday, coming off of TJ. Carlos Rodon, who had elbow surgery to remove bone chips in October, he threw 50 pitches on Monday. And the Yanks need the help because it's been bombs away in the Bronx for the last 16 innings right now. And the Angels doing it again. They went back to back in the first inning. Mike Trout, Joe Adell, and Jorge Soler. Peraza added a homer later. The Yankees have not been able to get on the board. 6-0 they are down, mustering up again. Only 2 hits. So while the pitching staff is getting reinforcements very soon, which just makes that even scarier, you still got to be able to put up runs, and that's something the Yanks have struggled with over the last week or so.
Here's the thing. We talked about it. This is, in essence, the same Yankees team that they had last year. Not a whole lot of changes to it. And that was, they had their moments, and we know offensively they had their moments, and Stanton's been a little bit better for them early on in this year. But there's still some big holes. Bellinger's is good, but he hasn't been great in New York. Rice has been better, but there's still a lot of holes in this Yankees lineup. It is not consistent. And then you also have Judge, and here's a conversation that we can have. A lot of the players that have played in the World Baseball Classic have not had good seasons. They are not. And this is not the first time we've seen this. And it's very, very interesting. Is them getting revved up too soon? Is it affecting them? Because you had guys that had really good game series in the WBC and are like non-existent, and Judge is one of them. He's not having a Judge type season, so it's very interesting to see how these guys react, because again, a lot of them, even especially some of the pitchers, have not started off very well for anybody. It's across the board. These players have not played well.
No, and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you with the Yankees situation and go back to a little bit of that and kind of their offense here. And I saw this last night. I think I was thumbing around on my personal Facebook page, which is very awkward for me because I never go on there anymore. But I saw this, and I know this is the thought of several Yankee fans right now, so I'm going to throw this out there because I do agree with it. And he writes, this is, what is this? Yankees 366. I guess is the page. It looks like it's a Twitter post. I hate that I was right about this team not being a real contender, but I think it's pretty clear they have holes at third base, shortstop, second base, in the infield alone, plus a hole at center field with a $22 million mistake. Plus, I haven't even mentioned the bullpen needing another arm or two as well. They overpaid for Ryan McMahon. We know that. The Jazz Chisholm thing, when Jazz is on, he's great. But it's when he's on is the problem. And T asked me a couple weeks ago, we were doing rapid fire on a Thursday, Mac, and he said, what's the best story for you to start the year? And I mentioned the conversation that we had the night before. Like, a lot of these rookies having great starts to the year, very exciting. But I think the best story is the Yankees being good and being dominant at the start of the year. But this is my thing with the Yankees, is I don't know how seriously I should really take them, because while you could pitch your way to a World Series, you could hit your way to a number 1 draft pick. And we know their offense is not going to suck. It's not going to law averages over a long season. But there are some glaring holes, to agree with what you were saying, in that lineup.
Let's
What was that?
Let's take a look at their lineup. Let's talk about their lineup that's on the field right now. Okay? You got Paul Goldschmidt leading off. Okay, that's a problem right there. Love Goldie. But
Goldie's got wheels, baby.
Yeah, but if that's your leadoff hitter, that's a problem. And Goldie's good. He's part-time, but he's not the MVP Goldie. Then you have Judge. He's hitting 222. We won't touch that. But then listen, your number 3 hitter is Rosario. He's actually not having all that bad a year. He's at 310, and then Stanton 304. But then listen to the rest of their lineup: Grisham, Russell, Grichuk, Wells, Caballero, and McMahon. That's not a Yankees lineup.
No,
Let's be honest. It's not a Yankees lineup. And don't give me it's run prevention, it's defense, it's all this. No, it's not.
They're not great defensively either, though.
No. And I mean, here's the thing. We kind of bust Volpe's balls all the time. But listen, he should be playing every day. He's not playing every day. Why isn't he playing every day? Because he's not that good yet. Again, the bottom half of that lineup, and even you throw Judge, there is. I mean, there's a ton. It's not the Yankees lineup that we're used to or feel like we should have for a Yankees team.
Yeah, Billy V checking in there. We appreciate it, dude. And I know because I've had the conversation with him as well. If you've got a question for us, even if it's out of sequence, throw it in there, and we'll start getting to those by the end of the show. I see one in there from our boy You Got Roz. We'll get to that one, Roz, before the end of the show. But yeah, I'm looking at it from like McMahon's standpoint, and I know some dope out there is going to go, batting average doesn't tell the full story. Yeah, I get it, but you can learn a lot by a dude's batting average. So let's just not pretend that a batting average is useless, because why is it still a stat then? Sorry. Well, I mean, every time I bring up batting average, I get some dopey nerd behind their analytical computer that goes, well, batting average isn't the truest. Yeah, I know. I'm going to get to that here when we talk about the Royals in a second. Well, but you're paying $11 million for a $1.28 of Ryan McMahon. I'm not seeing return on investment there.
No, I mean, and again, we talk about it, and it's one of those things. It's like some people thrive in those situations and some people don't. And you know what? I mean, he wasn't this bad a player in Colorado. Let's just be honest. He wasn't this bad in Colorado. He was actually a really good all-star caliber player in Colorado. He's nowhere near that in New York. Is part of it New York? I think it actually is. Again, you have to understand in some of these, and we've said it, we know this, in some of these markets, if you're not producing, the amount of pressure is tremendous. Pinstripes
make guys pucker, man. That's no secret. Some guys can handle it, and some dudes can't.
Nope.
And it doesn't look like Ryan McMahon's been able to handle it very well amongst other guys on that lineup.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, before we get to a new edition, like it's on newsstands everywhere, a new edition of the rotation today, we also brought Fashion Mac back out today for the first time in a while, and always a hot topic amongst the three of us. That's crazy. Giant billboard at half court in the city, I almost said the City Connect game, the play-in tournament game. Rory McIlroy, your Masters champion. Watch now on Prime. Walking advertisements everywhere. We are going to talk about the Masters and Rory's historical performance before the end of the program. We're not going to shy away from it.
Can I one more thing before we get into the thing? As I was watching the Masters,
one more thing before the thing.
Yeah, I was watching the Masters this week and watching a lot of and on ESPN, and they kept showing all those ESPN commercials, the good ones. You know? Mm-hmm. And I just sat there, and again, I mean, no offense, but it's like, what the hell happened to ESPN? ESPN used to be, this is what I thought. ESPN used to be fun. Would you agree? Would you agree watching ESPN? It used to be fun. Baseball Tonight, the hockey, even watching the games. ESPN used to be fun, the commercials and everything. ESPN isn't fun anymore. It's part of it's one of those things that just, as I was watching, I'm like, those were great commercials. What happened? What happened to sports? What happened to ESPN?
You're getting in full WrestleMania week mode here. That was a pretty good promo. They didn't help matters, and I loved it, but they don't help matters when Sunday night, because of how they had Scott Van Pelt, who is an absolute GOAT, one of the best of the best.
Yes.
I'll stop there for a second, because I don't think you're wrong. Why is ESPN not fun anymore? And it's a question we've all asked. I think ESPN's got a ton of talented people over there that don't get pushed the right way, and the people that we're all sick and tired of are the ones that keep getting jammed down our throat. So I think that's part of it. But Sunday night, so they've got Matt Berry, who's fantastic, Scott Van Pelt, a goat of all goats, and amongst a bunch of others on site at Augusta. So every night I usually dinner time and shower time. And yes, I watch. This is what we say when you tell me I'm not an NBA fan or I don't watch enough basketball. In the shower, I still watch stuff. And I was pissed because I got sidetracked when I got out of the shower and Rich Eisen was hosting SportsCenter from Bristol, which talk about taking you back. Like, and they did a couple of cool commercials with him leading up to being back at Bristol. And like, those are the things that everybody's talking about. And you got Roz jumping in here. I mean, this is, that's basically.
I love that.
About as true as you could say it right there. And again, there's people at ESPN that I think deserve and we would love to see get more airtime, but we don't make those decisions. So who knows? Yeah, thanks a lot, Amazon Prime, for taking me way off of this very important topic. City Connects are always a thing in baseball that sparks a debate amongst our group text. I will tell you, because you don't need them here to figure this one out, TJ, not a fan of City Connects. Vegas Mac is more of our fashion expert on the show, as you can tell. My wardrobe doesn't consist of sleeves, and Mac has a different t-shirt from like every professional or minor league team you've ever seen. That's why if you go read his Twitter bio, it says collector of sports t-shirts. So Mac is our fashion judge on the show, and I haven't told Mac the order that I'm going to pull these up in, but there are seven new City Connect uniforms in Major League Baseball this year. Obviously, the key is to try and get you to buy more merchandise. I would follow that with, why do you make these so horribly ugly if you want us to buy more of them? So I will start you with one that I'm particularly fond of.
Okay.
Because of what it means. And if you want the full explanation behind all of these, no, I did not print it out. So I will start with what I thought was my favorite one. I give you the San Diego Padres new City Connects, which is great because the old ones look like a pack of Connell's gum. Those little tiny square rectangular pieces of gum you got in the little 5-pack because they had all the obnoxiously bright wannabe surf colors of San Diego. These ones with a little bit of the blue and a little bit of a toss back to the Tony Gwynn kind of logo days and the mesh between the two, I'm kind of fond of. That's about as deep as I'm going to go on any of these, just so you know.
All right. So San Diego's kind of weird. Like, they always seem like, first off, it seems like they get one every year. That's the first thing. Number two, they tend to be a little bit, wild. This is really toned down. This is actually really nice. There isn't anything about this that I don't like. I like the colors. I don't like the hat. The hat I could do without. I get it. I see where they're going with the hat. But you know what? If we go a grade of 1 to 5, I would give this a 4.5. I like these.
I didn't know we were getting grades. I like that. All
right. We've got to establish something here. Yeah.
All right. So we got a baseline. Are we going out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 5. Oh, I can't count
so
that.
That's a high grade.
Yeah.
That's like an A+.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. This is the one I hated the most. The Baltimore Orioles. There's a lot of things going on here, Mac, and not many of them are good.
So I'm just trying to read a little bit because I want to get a little idea as to why. First off, have you ever called it Be More? Does anybody call it Be More? Is that a thing? Please, somebody let me know.
I don't think people from Baltimore call it Be More.
Right. So I love the Oriole. I will say I'm a big fan of birds. I love the Oriole. I think that's good. This is atrocious. I don't understand the color scheme. I'm trying to read a little bit about it. This doesn't work for me. Yeah, no joke. I don't like the hat. I don't like the hat. I don't like the color scheme. The numbers are weird. I'm going to give it.
It looks like an independent ball hat, and I worked in the independent leagues, and our team had a cool ass logo and color scheme. That is not anywhere close to. I'm going to give logo.
This. I'm giving this one the bird. That's one.
Appropriate for the show. All right, here we go. I have no opinion on this one because it's just straight boring.
I don't understand.
And it's better than what they tried to do last year, if you remember that failure.
Obviously, it's some sort of dealing with the Mexican heritage. Um, it's rather plain. There isn't a whole lot here that I really like. I'm looking like on the sleeves. Again, I'm giving this one this a different bird, but a one again.
This
Yeah.
this Ranger hat is way better than
It just
that
there's nothing there. I mean, it like you said, it just doesn't do anything for me.
it's boring.
It is.
All
right.
Here's a good one. Actually, going back to the Rangers here real quick. Yeah. I tried, trust me, I tried before they caught the era. This one was probably my second favorite one because I love that they went with a nickname that I fully know gets used a lot of the time in Wisconsin. I like the Wisco. I like the different shade of blue. I do like the hat on this one.
I don't know. It's again, it doesn't do a whole lot for me. I kind of my idea of these City Connects, like they should be a little outrageous. I really do think so. I get what they're going. It's kind of the colors, the tones of where they're going. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, they should be outrageous. They should have some wild color schemes and all that. I agree with you. The next one, I think, hands down for me, was like worse than the Baltimore one because I'm going there this summer and I was really interested to see what the new stuff looked like. I will be purchasing none of that City Connect stuff while I'm in Kansas City.
Okay.
That was a perfect reaction.
Yeah.
What the heck? What the fuck? Let's just say it. I mean,
I think.
What are we doing here?
I think I saw this at the City League last night downtown. I think it looks like a softball uniform. Like,
I'm getting skateboard vibes because of the hat.
Yeah, I mean, here's the only thing. I'm a big purple fan. I like anything with purple. So I'll give it a 2.
Oh, wait till you see the batting helmets that go with this uniform. I caught a glimpse of those the other day. They are horrendous.
But I don't, and I get the logo. I was trying to read what the logo is. It's pays homage to the team's original 1969 mark, and the heart logo reflects the placement in the country's heartland. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 2, just because of purple.
Definitely agree here. Not branded for us old folk, for sure.
No.
This next one, boring, but I don't hate it.
Okay, so
love the C on the jersey. Okay. Don't like it on the hat.
Right. So a couple of things. It looks like it's pinstriped, and so I'm not a pinstripe fan at all. I just am not. I'm not a pinstripe fan. I'm also not like solid color on solid color. Not a fan of that. I like the logo. I like the number scheme. I like the shirt. The shirt and the hat. I would buy this. I just don't know that I like it.
If you buy red pants like that and you step in front of me, I'm going to kick you in the freaking Mackenzies.
Yeah, I know. But the shirt and hat, waist up, love it. I'll give it a 3.5.
All right.
Yeah.
I do like the jersey. See, the hat looks very constrained in there, like shrunk down. Kind of like when I went to Detroit. All I wanted was the Tom Selleck style Tigers hat. We go to the team shop, and it's funny because the memory actually just popped up in my phone today because it was the day Logan Webb signed his new contract with the Giants. But we go into the team shop, and the D on this hat, dude, is like that big. And I don't know if it was like a phallic kind of joke, like look at the tiny D, or like what we're doing here. But I was I was heartbroken when I walked in there. That's all I wanted on the entire trip. And then I get this little miniature D. Like, what are we doing, people? Now, this last one is definitely my favorite one. For a bunch of different reasons. And this one makes me want to go back to this ballpark, like, right now.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to get a little intel here. First off,
Intel matters.
I love anything powder blue is good for me. Anything powder blue, from a uniform. See, I like this. This is sharp. This is nice.
You got the
I like
throwback to the a little bit of the old A.
which I love. That old A, that 70s, early 80s A, is one of my favorites. I like this. I'm gonna go four and a half on this.
Very accurate statement there, by the way. Yeah, and they were wearing them all weekend this weekend, including on Sunday Night Baseball. All right, that concludes the fashion portion of the program. Thank you very much.
I love that. That was great.
Did you see that our bat flip burger actually made it onto the Sunday night broadcast?
No, did it? That's
They
awesome.
did not tell how much it was, but they came back from commercial. They brought him up to the booth. Benetti was terrified to even look at this thing, let alone to try and touch it with a suit and tie on. But they showed that. Atlanta was wearing these all weekend. And that kind of gets us into where we want to start with this. Best and worst, or best or worst of what you saw over the weekend. And I'm going to stay. There's a reason I put up that one last. And I talked about the bat flip burger because this Atlanta Braves team, and it is crazy. They're 10-7. We're going to talk about just both leagues as a whole here in a second. They're 10-7. They have a plus 40 run differential. So this Atlanta team is starting to go back to the explosive offense Braves that we're used to. But when you look at who is on their injured list, they have an entire really, really good 5-man rotation on their freaking injured list, man. And this team is off to a great start. They have not lost a series all year. It is fun for me, at least, when the Braves are good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought the Braves, I saw a lot of them in spring training. I really like the way that they were put together. I really like this Atlanta team. If they can get just a portion of that pitching to come back, and get a little healthier, this is, I really think, they could run away with the East. I really do, because the unfortunately the rest of the East right now is garbage.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, again, to remind yourself of what they're doing right now with AJ Smith-Shawver, Hurston Waldrop, Spencer Schwellenbach, and Spencer Strider all not pitching. They also don't have Sean Murphy right now, Ha-Sung Kim. They haven't had who they brought in to be effective right away. It's been kind of crazy to see their start. You mentioned this last week when we talked about the fight that you had to refer back to at the start of the show here. I saw this floating around from this weekend, and we joked about it, but we weren't joking about it. So the tackle from Walt Weiss on Jorge Soler.
Right.
Chris Sale printed out the photo of that, slapped it on a wine bottle, and they had Ray Lopez present it to Walt Weiss in front of the whole team. 680 The Fan was the place I saw this from, Cellini and Dimino. I believe that's still Rich Cellini, if I remember right. Rousing ovation was how it was received. That's how you earn a clubhouse. This Braves team is dangerous.
I said it when we talked about it last week. I said, circle the date. There's, in a baseball season is so long, and sometimes it's that one thing that happens, and sometimes it's in essence this is not really baseball related. It's not a big win. It's just something that happens that's going to galvanize the team, that they can kind of decide that this is the thing. And then sometimes it's a fight. I mean, we just know that. But I'm just telling you, I go back and watch if the Braves don't take. I mean, they've already kind of taken off, but if again, I think the Braves are in for a big season.
Best and or worse or both from the weekend. What do you got?
I got a couple. I went the one matchup that I talked about that you kind of chuckled at me a little bit. I wanted to kind of keep an eye on was the Washington Milwaukee Brewers series, because I just want to see what these two teams are. I'm intrigued by them, and Washington with the 3-0 sweep, so that was pretty interesting to me. But I think the other telling one to me was Tampa Bay. We joke about Tampa Bay. It's kind of like we always say, they're like a cockroach. You can't get rid of them. I think last year, we all know they didn't play in the Trop. Um, Being back in the Trop, I think is going to make a difference. Nobody likes to play there. It's just one of those things. It's kind of a weird spot, weird place. Yeah, sometimes there's more of their fans than your fans, but for whatever reason, the darn Tampa Bay team plays well in the Trop. And so again, I looked at that and man, they swept the Yanks. I know the Yanks aren't playing good, but it's just being back at the Trop. That's a dangerous place for the Rays to be.
Yeah, it is, and they're off to another kind of typical Rays start. They're a pain in the ass. They're a tough team to play against, no matter where you play them. And I think that's a good thing. It's a fun thing. It's fun to see them back at the Trop, even with the jokes that we make of it.
Right. And remember, they had a lot of injuries to their pitching staff last year. Their two top pitchers were out almost the entire year. So they're getting those guys back. So, again, we know their staff is loaded. And this, again, we can't forget about Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Ryan Pepio, he speaking of the Rays, he gets a move to the 60-day injured list. Was transferred there after the right hip inflammation that kind of came up out of nowhere late in spring training. He's another guy that they're missing right now too. So, absolutely agree with you there. All right, it is Tuesday, which means in its rightful place, that is the mark and the time for a new edition of Vegas Max Rotation. Where are you taking us today?
We're going to go to the National League, the senior circuit, as they used to call it. My top 5 teams so far in the National League. I'm going to start at number 5 with Arizona. And yeah, the Diamondbacks, they went out on the road, took 2 out of 3 from Philly, took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Great start on the road for the Arizona Diamondbacks. How about the Pittsburgh Pirates? They're my number 4 spot, first in the Central, first team to get 10 wins in the Central. We've been talking about this Pirates team for a couple years. Maybe this is the season. Walk-off special, that's my number 3 team, the San Diego Padres. Seemed like every game they won last week was with a walk-off. Thanks, Don Arcillo, for all of those. They're my number 3 team. Number 2, the team we just talked about, the Atlanta Braves, best run differential in baseball. I think big things for the Atlanta Braves this season. And we're just going to stick with the best at number 1, the Los Angeles Dodgers, until somebody knocks them off. They're the best in the West.
Hit the right button, Tom. This Dodgers team's interesting. Watched them last night against the Mets. The highest payroll series in the history of Major League Baseball, and the Dodgers brought it last night. Would have been nice if Teo Hernandez brought it last night and got me a home run, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because if you look at the standings and you look up of the makeup of what's going on early in this baseball season, entering play on Monday, everybody in the American League had at least 6 wins and no more than 9 wins, the entire American League. And if you look at the division by division standings, and everybody's going, oh, it's early. I mean, got to remember here, we're almost 20 games into the season here. So it is still early, but that is still a significant sample size. Now, we know Memorial Day weekend is where you can really tell which teams are contenders and pretenders here. But the only division in baseball that actually has any separation from first place to last place, and I'm saying separation, is the National League West, with the Dodgers at the top and the Giants right now tied for the bottom. They've already lost today. Colorado is down 7-4, but that American League, man, is not, and I don't think any of us are surprised. It's very well stacked, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are almost even money to make the playoffs now, and I don't think that surprises me either.
No, it doesn't. And I said, I think for me this year, the division that is most interesting to me is the Central. I watched the Cardinals this weekend. I didn't think they were all that bad. I mean, they have some good young players. They're a fun team to watch. I think the battle between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati right now is fun to watch. And you go in there and it's kind of funny. Who is the last team in the Central? It's the Chicago Cubs. So, yep. Already, again, you're right. Memorial Day is kind of like that first little checkpoint. And, we got to be worried a little bit about the Cubbies.
Cubs returning the favor, whooping the Phillies tonight 10-4. Miami has just completed a 12-0 run before a timeout for the Hornets to retake the lead in the mid-fourth quarter. I believe, if I remember right, they are up by 4 now. 4 or 5. But 12-0 run there, capped by a Davion Mitchell 3. So we'll keep you up to date with that. All right, let's get to, if I can find my place here. Oh, let's do a little hot and cold here. There's some guys off to great starts, some teams off to great starts, some teams off to bad starts, some guys off to bad starts here. My hot and cold come from the same team, Mac. My hot, Bobby Witt Jr. He's reached base now, as of tonight, 31 times so far this season in 17 games. Pretty good start to the season for Bobby Witt. He would say not quite where he wants to be. All for you metric nerds out there, his batting average is 270 right now. But he's reached base 31 times this season. You know who's ice cold? The Royals offense that has now stranded him 30 of the 31 times he's reached base. Bobby Witt Jr., the Royals can't find a way to get him home. Like, that is mind-blowing to me. And, you know, they moved the fences in at the K. It was supposed to help for power, right? Vinny Pasquantino, no home runs, played in the WBC. Bobby Witt Jr., no home runs, played in the WBC. Jack Caglione did not play in the WBC, no home runs with the fences all moved in. This Royals offense, man, is not playing good baseball, and they didn't play good baseball tonight as they fell to the Tigers in Detroit. Key series for them early in the year, both teams on off to good starts. Kenley Jansen notches his 479th save to move past Lee Smith, and the Tigers have now won 4 in a row. This Royals team is ice friggin' cold with the bats, dude.
There's a lot. I mean, again, a lot of baseball that I've been watching. I still think the pitchers, for whatever reason, have a tick up on a lot of the hitters. Again, part of it could be the weather. The weather really hasn't broken in a lot of these places. It's still rather cold. I don't know if that's it. I'm going to have to go back and look over the last couple of years when they've had the WBC to see kind of where teams are. Because I think every team feels rushed. And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of teams felt rushed this year in the with the WBC. So I think it's one of those things. I think might have to go and get my books out and kind of start looking and find out how much the WBC affects pitching and hitting. Because it really, the hitters seem to really be struggling a little bit this year.
I could back a theory behind that there. Give me hot and cold. What do you got?
I got a couple of hot guys. This weekend, it was kind of nice to see Wilson Contreras. He had a really nice weekend going back. I always love it when guys go back to their... Hold on. Go back to their...
over there?
Yeah, we're good. Just dropping stuff. Go back to their former clubs, and he had a really, really good weekend for the Red Sox. Had a 4-hit game, 3 RBIs, 6 hits in his last 2 games. That was pretty good. But here's a guy I think nobody's really talking about. He's a pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels. Jose Soriano, 4-0 so far this year.
Freaking nails, man.
Yeah, 0.33 ERA, 31 strikeouts in 27 innings. And listen, a little bit more. He's pitched at Houston, at the Cubs, against Atlanta, and on the road to Cincinnati. So he's pitched at Cincinnati, at Chicago, at Houston, and at home against Atlanta, and still an ERA of 0.33. That, my friends, is hot.
Yeah, he's been absolutely nails this year. And I mean, like, the really impressive start to me was the start in Cincinnati, because we know how games typically go in the Great American Bandbox there. You know, another guy that I didn't put him in my hot list because I kind of wanted to give him his own due. And, you know, I was watching the Dodger game, as I mentioned last night. I'll be watching the Dodgers again tonight. But, you know, and I kind of tipped my hand there. That was poor delivery on my part. But do you know who leads the majors in batting average right now?
Without looking it up, I don't know, but
Okay.
Will Smith.
No, that's a great guess.
All right.
It's Andy Pajes of the Dodgers.
Yeah, he's
He's
been
at
hot. Yeah.
417
Hmm.
for the season. And, when we look at what the Dodgers lineup is doing right now, okay? Again, I'm going to piss off all the analytical nerds here, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm doing it on purpose now. Batting averages, Freddie Freeman, 273. Shohei Ohtani, 267. Kyle Tucker up to his Chicago Cubs. Kyle Tucker at 237. Max Muncy, 226. Teo is at 314. Will Smith's at 298. So Mookie Betts was at 179 when he got hurt. The Dodgers' top half of their order hasn't had one of those games. Oh, they did one of the games in Washington, but they haven't had really many of those games yet where they've all been clicking. It's Andy Pajes, who's primarily been in the 6 or 7 spot, that has really helped this Dodger offense in the beginning of the season. 417, dude. And he had a rough go of it last October, the last time we saw him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was quite the focused one, at least so far as it looks to start this season. He's having an incredible year, and because he gets swallowed on that list of all-stars there,
right,
nobody's even talking about him.
Absolutely. I have a hot and cold one for you. Ready? Okay. It's like the old, McDonald's. The hot side stays hot, the cold side stays cold. Here we go. Check out this stat line. 11 innings pitched. 28 hits, 7 walks, 22 earned runs. That's an ERA of 18.0. Do you know who I'm talking about?
God, I should know that. No.
Here we go.
I'm going to get pissed when you tell me.
I am talking about Tariq Skubal. I am talking about Framber Valdez and Garrett Crochet. That is their combined stats of 3 games at Target Field this year.
Dude, right before we started the show today, somebody posted a thing that the MLB needs to launch an investigation into what's happening at Target Field.
What is up with that? So the Minnesota Twins, a team that again we don't know about their ownership. We don't know what's going to happen. They are playing great baseball. My boy Brooks Lee, absolutely love the guy. Talk about he's on my man crush list, but how about that? 3 of the best pitchers in the American League cannot get the Minnesota Twins out.
You're still trying a year later to get me to say yes to the Max Man Crush list, which I've told you no 100 times to. Let's talk about matchups this weekend. There's a lot of great matchups on the slate in baseball this weekend. So I'll let you start here. Give me 1 or 2 of the ones that you're really excited to see later in the week here.
All right, two teams that again we don't know, we didn't really know what we're going to expect from them. I'm going Tampa Bay at Pittsburgh. I love that matchup. That's a fun one. But I think the big one for me this weekend, it's that National League East matchup, Atlanta and Philly. That's the one that has my eye this weekend.
All right, I am going to go to the opposite side of the scale here from you. I am definitely excited to see that Braves-Phillies matchup, but I'm looking at Tigers Red Sox this weekend, and this one's going to start on Friday. And of course, I scrolled past it. Casey Mize and Ranger Suarez there. Suarez 1-1, 502. Mize is at 1-1, 394. 2 teams, high expectations. 2 teams that have gotten off to god awful starts. The Tigers have a little bit of momentum right now. The Red Sox are just going, get us the hell out of Minnesota. Jeez. That one I'm really looking at. I'm also going to be paying a lot of attention to the Blue Jays and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks off to a little bit better record than I anticipated them having. Their pitching staff is absolutely dreadful, but they're 10-8 right now. The Jays at 6-9, a little bit of a World Series hangover. So I'm looking more at some teams this weekend to kind of get going a little bit rather than right to the big matchup.
So interesting thing, and I didn't catch it until late, and I'm going to investigate it a little bit more. I'm listening to the Red Sox game, and they weren't calling him Ranger. It was being pronounced differently, and I didn't catch it at first. It was just I'm
Ron
listening
Hunter?
to the
Ron Hader.
Yes, I think that's what it was.
Now pitching for the Red Sox, Ronher Suarez.
I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna listen a little bit more. I got to figure.
We're gonna launch a Mac investigation.
But it just threw me. It wasn't as much as the has a name ever thrown you off? Has a name ever thrown you off? Like you heard it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
dude, you know how many she can tell you how many times I sat there walking up and down the house before the NBA draft a few years ago, saying Victor Wembanyama out loud. Like you would have thought I was in some kind of like weird drug-induced haze or something, because I'm just walking up and down the hallway saying it.
So here we go. Time for old man Mac's story. Growing up, listening
one of these in a while.
I know WTIC in Hartford, listening to the Hartford Whalers and Chuck Hayton, one of the best announcers who ever lived. Chuck Hayton and Andre Lacroix bringing you the Hartford Whalers. They're playing the Montreal Canadiens, and they can't seem to score against this guy called Waugh. Patrick Waugh, young guy. And I look the next day in the news.
Roy?
I'm looking in the newspaper. I'm like, Roy, who's the Roy? Who's the Roy guy? And, for a young kid in northeastern Connecticut, I was so confused. The newspaper, it was Roy. Who's Roy? I've never liked him since then.
He's unemployed now. That's what he is right now. 105-102 in the play-in tournament from the Spectrum Center here. LaMelo Ball and Con Knipple couldn't hit water if you dropped them out of a boat tonight. I believe, on last count by me, half watching, they are 2 for 20 from 3 between the two of them. 105-102, 3:45 left.
How about this? I saw this today. Islanders not in, right? Mm-hmm. The last time the Islanders, Rangers, and Devils all missed the playoffs in the same year? Never.
Yep.
We are living.
Tri-state fail.
That's right. We are living in never.
All right, let's get to the matter at hand.
All right.
Vegas Mac won the first stage, 125.78. He won the Masters in a tight one, 2018. TJ actually beat both of us in the average finishing position. That went 57 for T, 64 for Mac, which is hilarious because Mac had two guys in the top 12 and then had to take a 50 in average finishing position for Bryson, who melted down. And I still got my ass kicked in this one. I finished at 75. So the Masters was incredible. I felt myself saying this a couple of times, and I'm getting like TJ is with the Chiefs with Rory and Scotty, and I really, really hate that. The hilarious part is when you see Mike versus Mac tomorrow, you're going to find out how much of a hypocrite I am with that statement I just made. But I'm kind of Rory Scotty fatigued right now. Why? Help me through that. Because I don't want to not enjoy golf.
See, for me, I didn't get there because it was one of those things. Is like Scotty wasn't part of the picture again until Sunday. I mean, he kind of like he gave his little Saturday. Hey, don't forget about me. I'm right here. I'm within distance. See you tomorrow. And then before you know it, like within a couple of holes, he's right there, and I was surprised he didn't have the middle part of his round was not great. I mean, he didn't have that one hole where he kind of got going. He did not play the par fives at all well in that tournament. All he had to do is make one birdie in 4 days on one of the par fives, and he would have tied that thing up. But he did not play those par fives well at all. And so, we talked about this. We this is what we were wanting. We had, all through the course of the history of golf, we have it,
TJ getting some golf love on the program.
There you go. This is exactly what we want. We said we needed someone to push to push Scotty? Is Rory that guy? Here's the only thing about it. These guys they don't play enough of the events to push each other enough. That's kind of the thing. That's going to be the kicker to that. It just we're going to see them in these signature events, maybe sort of kind of, and then we'll see them at the majors. But other than that, they don't seem like they play together, not together, but play a lot of the same tournaments very often. So I don't really have that fatigue because it doesn't happen very often.
And maybe I'm a little jaded because and I think a lot of people, I don't think I'm in the minority here at all. I mean, I know there was a lot of people wanted to see Rory go back to back, especially with his parents actually being able to be there this year. And that was a special moment for them. I'm not trying to say it's not at all.
No.
We would all wish we could have that moment. But like, I think part of it for me was I was really, really, and not even from a betting standpoint, just really pulling for Justin Rose. To like, it kind of felt like it should have happened because of how close and how hard he charged late last year and all that stuff. And I think that kind of soured it a little bit for me. But like, credit to Rory. It's the hardest golf course that is known to man. The mental, and it's funny because I sent you guys a text that I'm not going to read word for word because I don't know if that pushes the line of borderly maybe not appropriate for our show, which is a very far line, but it's the course where everybody gets tight. It doesn't matter if you've won it a time, 2, 5, 7, however many times you've played there, everybody gets tight there. And it's about and you heard Rory talk about this all weekend. It's about managing what happens. It's about, forgetting the bad shot and moving on to the next one because every shot is a different adventure there. And I don't think people, and if you haven't watched the thing that threw me off that Prime threw up on the board there, the feature that they did on Prime of him and about last year's win, you got to watch it because there's some really cool stuff in there. I still haven't started watching Full Swing, but this is why, because stuff like that comes up and that's why I watch it. So a masterful performance. I mean, the driver was not his best friend over Saturday and Sunday, and like the mental toughness that he showed, I think made this year's win way more impressive to me than last year's win. And it's not, we know he had the moments, especially late on Sunday last year, but it was more like to see him where he had every reason, Mac, on Sunday to go, if I get caught, I got caught. And you never saw that from him. He's like, no, this is mine again, and we're doing this again. And he did.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that, and you heard it a lot over the week, of that the fact that, he won. He's got his green jacket. He's got it, so he doesn't have to worry about it. And I think it's that. I think he played kind of a workman's kind of weekend. That's the best way to kind of put it. I think you could tell he was very in tune, not only with the swing, but with his emotions, and he just, they had a feature when they talked about, his, I forget the bracelet that he wears with his heartbeat and stuff like that, and they showed the stuff, like, for the most part, all weekend, even when he got into trouble, his heart rate was really, really low.
Oh, you're talking about the Whoop device that he's actually an investor in.
Yeah, and
great
I think
point, actually.
Yeah, I think it was really kind of cool to see, especially when he hit those moments that, his heart rate was pretty steady. To me, I think that was really cool.
Yeah, it was, and I heard an interview on Pat McAfee's show today with Jim Nantz, it'd be cool to see him do more interviews, man. He's a hell of a lot of fun to just listen. Got to see a lot of his personality that we don't typically see today. It was fun, but he's talking about the moment and what makes the Masters. And it's funny because one of my friends, by the way, the Charlotte-Miami game is fucking incredible. One of my friends was like, hey, Sunday tickets to the Masters, would you go? And I kind of paused. And I don't know why I paused, because why would you not want to be at Sunday at the Masters in Augusta in April? Like, I don't know if it's I definitely know I don't fit in at Augusta. Like, let's make that perfectly clear. I don't fit the mold that they're looking for, but I don't know if I would want to be there on Sunday. And the point that I'm very long-winded getting to is I think the way Jim Nantz calls the Masters is something I don't want to miss on a Sunday at Augusta. Like that'd be why I'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I'd go.
Well, we've all been to a lot of different sporting events, and they're all different. If you go to a golf, you have to make a critical decision. If you go watch a golf tournament, you have to make a decision, and I've done it both ways. Like, you can pick a hole, and you can stay at that. You get out there early and watch every group come through the hole, which I think is, if you pick the right hole, that's a lot of fun because you can see kind of how they play it. The other thing is you can follow a group or multiple groups, and I lost them. It's a lot of work going to a golf tournament. And actually following a group, it's a lot of work. You're giving up a shot. If you're not going to see every shot on every hole, especially if you're watching better players. And so that would be my thing. Like, the last round of Augusta, like, I guess if I sat, somewhere in Amen Corner and watched a hole would be kind of good. But other than that, you got to work too hard and you're going to miss too much to see it. Sorry, I threw you off with the hole.
No, I mean, hell, I haven't sent you guys a blooper reel in a while, and I know twice in the last week we've had some of our better ones. Now, if I could stop being a child for a minute, I do agree with you, and a lot of that comes from us and the frequency of going to the Phoenix Open and the Wasted Management Open, and because you got to make that decision. Listen, you're not going to beat the race because we're not going to get there at 5 o'clock in the morning to run to the 16th green. My favorite, I had 2 spots on that course that I love to hang out on. 17 was a good one before they made the Bay Club. Now it's kind of bastardized itself. 18 was always my favorite because we would sit right at the landing area of the fairway, and then we used to make like side bets behind the 18th green and stuff like that. But on the front side of that course, like, there's a couple of nice holes, but getting to them, because the traffic is always going to the same place. It's going to 16. It's going to 17. My favorite hole on that damn course out here in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, is 15, the par 5, right before the stadium hole. But, like, because of the access and the egress, if you will, from that hole, it's a disaster. So, and I just, like, Nance has this uncanny freaking way, and you're kind of in that split generation where and I'm actually not making an old joke for the first time in a long time here, so you're welcome, but you're in that kind of split generation where you had like Bob Costas at his high point, and you've also had like a guy like Jim Nantz, and it's like, for me, Nantz just, he paints he paints such a ridiculous picture in a great way of, like, I would hate to miss that moment. But then I'd go, you dumbass, you just turned down tickets to a place that sells cheap beer and cheap food on Sunday at the Masters. Like, I felt weird for saying it.
Golf is different, though. Like I said, it's because you have to work so hard to see every shot. Like, you miss so much. When you go to a golf tournament, you miss, compared to any other sport, obviously, you miss so much. I mean, so that's the thing. I mean, I've never been to a golf tournament that is like the Masters or any major. I've never been. I don't know how I would approach that. That to me would be kind of interesting. How I mean, I'd have to really think about that. Like, do I want to sit at the whole, that one spot and watch, or like, how do I follow that? That would, I don't know, that very interesting.
Coolest sporting event that you've ever been to?
The coolest?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of twofold. I think I went to game 1.
Are you still watching the game?
I am. You must be ahead of me.
Well, keep your eyes on it, because Kobe White's about to blow your effing mind. This game has been ridiculous. Sorry, go ahead.
The first one to me was I went to game one of the World Series between the Diamondbacks and the Yankees.
Okay.
And um and that in itself was with gosh
It
darn it,
wasn't
that
even all the
was
way turned around, man.
no, he wasn't. That was the first big event post 9/11. And so that was different in that kind of a way. You know what I mean? Like it felt weird to be in a baseball stadium with that many people, with everything that had happened. It was a real interesting feel. As far as like best game I ever been to, I always go back to the last game I ever went to with my grandpa, with the Red Sox and I mentioned this before, with then the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland up 2-0. Red Sox had to win, and they came back and won that game, and then ended up winning the last three games and moving on. I've never been so scared at Fenway Park as I had, because I literally thought it was going to fall apart. I didn't know that building could move, and it moved.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Home Run Derby was pretty cool when that was here in Phoenix. Saw some dumbass jump off of the main concourse level into the pool to try and catch one of the home run balls. I was fascinated to see grown men like fighting each other for batting practice home runs. That was fascinating. And this will be an unpopular position, but kind of appropriate because of the week that it is. WrestleMania 26.
Huh?
It was here in Glendale. I can't believe it's been like, this one will be, basically it's been 16 years now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Triple H, give us another damn WrestleMania, will you? But I think being there and being a wrestling fan since I was a kid, it was really cool to see it at its highest. We were both at the Royal Rumble that was at the Diamondbacks Stadium. That was cool, but I'm not a big event guy anymore. I would like to see Phoenix, Glendale get one more WrestleMania. I would go back to that. Final Four week, being in a Final Four, done it. Kind of overrated, especially unless you get like one of the great seats, because it's, what is this, a stadium for ants kind of thing. So
right.
I don't know. I'd love to see a Game 7 in one of the Canadian buildings in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it wouldn't even have to be like the finals or the West finals. Just a Game 7 at one of the Canadian barns in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I think would be a cool friggin' experience.
Have you ever been, you might have said this before, been to a game where you've seen your team, like, I'll say win a championship, but or I've never done that. The closest I came, we mentioned before when UConn won its first Final Four against Gonzaga, and I've seen them a couple of times, but I've never seen my team like win a championship.
I was a young stupid pup. Now I'm just an old dumb dog. But when I was a kid, obviously growing up where I did, the '89 National League Championship Series when Will Clark almost took Mitch Williams' head off, we were at a bunch of those games. Was actually at Game 1 and Game 2 of the World Series that year in Oakland. That was as close as I was baseball-wise. Basketball-wise, no, because when I lived back in California, still the Warriors were ass, so their whole run has come since I've been here. I would say like the biggest game I've ever been to for like one of my own teams, and it's funny because when we were moving me into the new studio, I found a bunch of these. I found the newspaper headline from it. The pick it to stick, the Niners' last regular season game at Candlestick Park when Navarro Bowman pulled a house call after letting an onside kick go literally through his wickets. And the place just went freaking batshit because that's sent crazy. The Niners to the postseason and almost got them another Super Bowl. But that was probably the biggest, like, clinching game kind of moment because the Sharks and the Coyotes never played in the playoffs, and it's always too damn hard at this time of year to get back to the Bay Area.
Right.
For me, for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. But that's probably the biggest one I've seen in person. But give us another WrestleMania in Arizona, damn it, and then I'll retire from going to big events. It is Tuesday, so let's get to the business at hand, and then we'll get up on out of here. And we do have one question that's been unanswered that we'll go back to. Right. But stick it Tuesday. Find me blow the dust out of your wallet, old cheap man you are, and find me some values here.
I got a couple of good ones. How about this one? Thursday, the Angels and New York Yankees. This is what I love about baseball. You go to an afternoon game in New York, $7. You can't beat that, right? I mean,
but who's pitching though?
Max Fried's going up against undecided.
Yeah, Max Fried's enough. Worth the $7.
Absolutely. I love that. I did take a look at the NBA just for the playoffs. The best deal I could get us, we'll have to really kind of dig deep in this one, but Orlando at Philly, if you want to call it that, $28. Not too bad for that. You know, we always talk about
$28?
Golf. 28 for a playoff in game.
It's not a playoff game. Don't give me that.
I know. Play in. If we wanted to go to the RBC Heritage, I did find out free parking. It's not exactly cheap. $108 is the cheapest ticket I could find to get in to the RBC.
Is that like a GA ticket?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
It's a great part of the country to be in at this time of year, and it's a hell of a tournament.
But I got something for you. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
We haven't done this yet. I know you. You're jonesing for something. I know what you're jonesing for.
You're not supposed to tell people that in public, dude.
You're jonesing for some football, baby. You haven't watched football in a while. I got some UFL prices for you.
I thought you said you had football.
Well, this is the best I can do for you right now. Best game of the weekend. St. Louis, the Battlehawks against the DC Defenders. In DC, they're going to give you a clear bag. That's the giveaway. $26. But that's not the best price. That's the best game. The best price.
Oh, there's more than one of these things?
Oh, I won't go through all of them, but you could go see
Please don't.
The Orlando Storm 3-0 against the Birmingham Stallions. You can get a red T-shirt as part of the giveaway. $10.
Is Dauber the offensive coordinator for the Orlando Storm?
Listen, I was going to test you and see how many of these teams you actually knew. I was going to say, even if
I knew them, I wouldn't admit it publicly.
The only one I really knew was the team in Houston. Do you know who they are? Think back to the USFL.
They got to be the Renegades.
The Gamblers. Close.
Oh.
Yeah. But I didn't.
Oh, no. Dallas is the Renegades if they still have them. They play in the old Rangers Stadium. That one I do know.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. That's what we got for you on this.
The best game of the weekend. So here we have a horse, we have a cow, and we have a bull. And which one of those piles behind them looks the best? I feel like that's what you just did to me.
Listen, I gave you the $7 ticket to go to the Bronx. Listen, $7 in New York. Think about all the money.
Max Fried, well worth it. I would that's a value. That's the point of this segment. You giving me UFL, XFL, whatever the hell it is, ticket prices is not the point of the segment.
But listen, it's that you get rid of that football Jones that you've got.
I am not jonesing to that kind of level. Not even close.
All right. I figured I'd try.
I'd rather watch roof ball than watch the UFL.
Hey, don't knock roof ball, baby.
I just did.
We got a roof ball segment coming up next week. No.
Yeah, that's a no. Okay, we're trying to get people to stay watching the show. That's not going to help anything. Here's the question from earlier. I'll go ahead and handle this one. Vinny Desharnais. It's weird. Randy Hahn, in his eloquent way that he could today, now that the Sharks are officially eliminated, said, hey, you got to remember it's 32 point improvement. There's still 2 games left. You got a superstar. There's people back in the building. I am thrilled with the Sharks getting me, as I said, able to watch hockey on a regular basis again. It is great. I hope Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith stay on their pathway, and there's great things to come for the Sharks. I think there's a lot of great things, interesting things. I was talking to TJ about this just a little bit the other day that are coming for them. But they've also got some decisions. And this team, and it was no more evident to me, Mac, than when I watched them play Edmonton last week, I think on Wednesday, and Connor McDavid outscored them by himself and did it in like a period and a half. This team is terrible on defense. They've got a lot of questions. They've got a lot of players in the pipeline, especially on the defensive side. I think at 29 years old, as much as a 6'7" right-handed defenseman is great, I don't know if he's the one that gets squeezed for the Sharks. I don't think Mario Ferraro's coming back for the Sharks. I think the Sharks need to bring back Shakir Mukhamadullin just because I want them to bring back Mukhamadullin because I like saying his damn name. So I think the Sharks have a lot of questions, especially defensively, and we're going to see which way they're going to go. But one thing TJ has reminded me of a lot with the Sharks specifically, Mac, is, they're a destination now. People want to play with Macklin Celebrini. They want to play with the Fresh Prince. The Kiefer Sherwood, who's not going anywhere. You got two very capable goalies. One of them needs to outshine the other and take the job full time. But the future is teal, and it's really freaking cool. And I'm interested to see what happens. Now, Adam Gaudette of the Sharks is from Braintree, Massachusetts. Mac, can you help me geographically challenged when it comes to Massachusetts? Where the hell is Braintree, Massachusetts? And I'm assuming Adam Gaudette is a really smart guy because he's from Braintree. Just a thought.
No, not necessarily.
Was that a shot at Braintree, Massachusetts right there?
No,
they're not smart folk from there?
I'm trying to think of the closest place. Gosh. It's Boston. Braintree's here, so that's south. I'm trying to think. It's between Braintree's between Boston and Brockton. I know that. That's the best I can give you. It's not far from the shore. It's
No. It's very close to the shore.
Yeah.
By the time it took you to try and explain it to my dumbass, I pulled up a map like a smart person would. It is by a town that sounds like a rockin' good time to me. It's probably boring as hell. Weymouth?
Weymouth, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how you would say it. Is it Cohasset? Cohasset?
Cohasset. Yeah, don't go much further because that's.
Well, I'm by the Situations Lighthouse.
The what lighthouse?
I don't know. SCITUA.
Situate.
You referenced Mike the Situation a couple weeks ago. I thought he had a lighthouse I didn't know about. A lot of beaches over there, though.
There are a lot of beaches.
Boy, do I sound like a dumbass. I've been to Boston. That's about it. I've been to Boston. That's about it. A lot of other places in Massachusetts I want to uncover and discover. All right, any final words from you? Charlotte and Miami are still playing 123-120. Charlotte with 48 seconds left in the game.
I got two things. First, I have to have a shout out to my wife. She plugged in my iPad this morning after I forgot to do so. So the only reason we're here is because of her plugging in my iPad. So shout out to my wife on that. And hey, listen, Ty Gibbs.
Payroll to send Max check to Mama McKenzie, not to me.
Ty Gibbs, first win.
Ooh.
Ty Gibbs,
Jesus.
First win. Who called it? I had that guy. That's right. Ty Gibbs won last week. His first win in NASCAR got me a nice little win.
Oh my God! You can't. I look at your screen right now. Just keep looking at it.
I can't. I went black.
Well, yeah, it's gonna fix itself right now.
Oh.
Holy shit, you gotta be kidding me. With 48 seconds left in overtime, is anybody else on Prime right now getting technical difficulties? Oh my. What a disaster.
Oh my gosh.
Legit, my screen is technical difficulties with 48 seconds left in overtime.
I do have a picture. Would you like me to tell you what's happening?
What?
But let's see. Well, the ball's at the he's at half court. He's been dribbling for the last 23 seconds. Takes a little drive,
You
scoop shot,
jackass.
and no foul on that play. Holy cow!
You're watching ESPN's now awful game cast, it sounds like.
Oh my gosh!
Hold on here. I got it. This is terrible, but I don't know if there's people seeing this. If it's, I'm sure it's just not just me, obviously, but
It's no.
I did just see a very quick tweet. It's back now. It's now 125, 120, which makes it even worse. Somebody just tweeted when I went to try and upload that picture live on the show here. A Sopranos ending
moment.
for Hornets Heat.
That's
There
pretty
you go.
funny.
You got some love. There, you scored brownie points with the wife.
There you go. Sweet. That's what we're here for.
Or
So-
maybe that's just hearts to me because I told the payroll department to send
And
your
that's
check to her for plugging in your equipment.
Probably more true. Hey, I gotta give you my liquid lock before I forget. For tomorrow. I'm going with Corey.
I'm sorry. Were you done with your circle track segment?
I was. I just wanted to get that in. I was excited about that.
I wasn't sure if you were done or if I needed to cut you off and ask you for any more UFL info for my night to be complete.
No, we're good. Hey, I got
Okay.
2 for tomorrow. I'm going to go to the hardwood. I'm going to take Orlando minus 1.5 in that game. If you want to partake in that, I'll just take that. And I'm going with Corey Seager, 2 hits tomorrow for the Rangers.
Seager's been off to. There's another guy who's off to a really good start. Mine. Thank you for reminding me we were supposed to do this.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Seth Lugo and Jack Flaherty from Comerica Park in Detroit tomorrow. Oh my God! And Charlotte just pulled a Duke versus UConn. This has been a wacky friggin' game.
So,
Tomorrow, Seth Lugo, Jack Flaherty, Comerica Park, 3:40 out here on the West Coast. Lugo's had a good start and a bad start. The Tigers are getting hot, but the Royals' offense is not. But Jack Flaherty might be the perfect answer, if you will, to their offense. So I am going to take the Royals, who will be money line dogs in tomorrow's game there. And I am going to also take the Dodgers with Shohei Ohtani on the mound to cover the run line against the Mets. So Royals money line, Dodgers on the run line against the Mets is where I'm looking tomorrow. Tickets as low as $46 from Dodger Stadium, which is actually
not
the
bad.
debut, if I remember correctly, of ESPN's baseball coverage this year, which also, if I remember correctly, Joe Buck is on the call for that game. Don't quote me on that. But Mets, Dodgers, ESPN, no shocker that it's Mets and Dodgers on ESPN. 125, 124. You know what, Mac? Let's just
Write it
wait
out.
out 8.7 more seconds.
All right.
Tomorrow night on the program, while we're waiting for free throws, it's now tied. You can see why my play-by-play career failed very quickly here in the next 8.7 seconds. Tomorrow on the program, we are going to go into the full NBA playoffs, give you our picks, give you who we think is on upset alert, all that fun stuff. We're going to play some rapid fire. We're going to also get into what's left to decipher in the NHL. It is a signature event in golf, so TJ will be making golf picks again. We are going to have a Crossing Streams play. Tyler Hero right now with a chance to give the Heat a 126-125 lead in overtime.
Man,
and he does it.
Man, I don't... Like you said, this game has been incredible. It's had a little bit of everything, but... Checking out... Alex Ovechkin. All smiles as he skates off the ice, what could be for the final time.
So, speaking of ESPN people, we were talking about that earlier while we're waiting for maybe another technical difficulty for the final shot or whatever. Charlotte just told me last time out. John Butchgrass posted on Twitter today that he signed a contract extension to stay at ESPN in their hockey coverage, which is absolutely fantastic to me because he is a staple of hockey on ESPN to me. So happy that he's going to be back. He posted an old highlight of Ovi tonight on his X account and he thinks that Ovi tonight was the last one for him.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one to kind of follow. Mac, the one thing I can't get over is, like, I can't just see Ovi I can see Ovi on a boat with a Dr. Pepper and a bag of Cheetos, but I can't see him in, like, the middle of July just going, hey, I'm done. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's not Ovi. It's like, hey, I'm retiring. It's been great. Or next year's going to be my last year and I don't want any of the bullshit. That's what I could hear out of Ovi either way.
I think last year he had such a great year with everything that happened, and this year was a little bit of a down year. I think, it's always one of those things where we're talking about anybody, but when we talk about the great ones, did I state 1 year too many?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we are. I think he had a really good year last year. He had a good year this year. Nothing great. I don't know really the direction the Capitals are going, but I think this is probably a good year to do it. Oh no! You're ahead of me. So
I know I'm ahead of you here.
Darn it! Way ahead.
It is over at the Spectrum Center, and there's a dog pile because LaMelo Ball can't drive vehicles, but he can drive the Hornets on a layup to advancing in the play-in tournament. 126 with a layup with about 3 seconds left out of LaMelo Ball. What a freaking game, man. Incredible game.
Well, I'll tell you, they had a good chance at the end, too.
They did have a good shot at the end there.
He should have probably just stopped and took that jumper. As you say, listen, I know we kind of... I know
that's the first time we've done this on the show.
I know we haven't done I know we've kind of bagged a lot about the NBA, but listen, if this is going to be the kind of game that you're going to give us,
no, don't do that.
No, okay, I'm out of here.
We got lucky there. Don't do that.
Right.
If that's how the whole playoffs goes, then I'm glad I have 2 TVs in this room, but don't set us up for that, because you know what's going to happen in the Blazers Suns game. It'll be a 30-point win for Phoenix.
I was going to say we got Orlando, Philly tomorrow. Don't forget.
Wonder who's going to actually show up and play in that one. Suns up 13-7, 8:40 left in the first there. I'm sure if you're watching on Prime, they'll be switching to it. That means it's time for us to go because I'm hungry. We went long. Never watched the end of a game on the show together, even though I was ahead of you. Great chance there, actually, for the Heat from that second replay.
Yeah.
Great defensive play from Bridges. Devin Booker, 5 points early for the Suns, and former Suns great Tumani Kamara has 3 points for the Blazers. That one early on. We'll get with you tomorrow night. Feel free to follow us on all of our social channels. Don't feel free. Just feel like you should, because we have fun here. That's what we do. Tomorrow night, TJ will be with us. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. For Vegas Mac, for T, for everybody behind the scenes, I'm Mike. You know the drill. We're with you tomorrow night. But for now, we're out.